boys and girls. Welcome to Watson's Glands, I think. I am very attractive, and with me, as always, the super trooper to my dancing queen, Michael Megas.
I don't know how to respond to that. I feel
I'm continuing with the Abbott jokes.
I feel both complimented and insulted at the same time.
Pretty much how that was going to go, yeah.
Okay.
I pulled the old double turn on him.
I've been turned on so many times I've become Paul the Big Show White.
Correct.
All right, we are at Watkins Glen for the second round of the WTCR ESR 2021 series. That's a mouthful. Jesus. We're just gonna go with WTCR series in the future, and it'll be implied that it's the ESR one.
To be fair.
And we got a surprising note. Someone is actually beating Mike Stoppmill right now, although by just 1,000th of a second. Dennis Johnson. Brody Steen in third place, followed by Liam Curtin, Cristiano Pinheiro, Sean Kenny, Andrew D, Gerard Davell, Davide Sloot, and Richard Drochet. We got another Richard who's joined the community, so a lot of Richard energy going around right now.
You say we got a big old bag of dicks?
We do. He's joining up in the Enduro series. We'll see how he does, and yeah, that'll be interesting. We got a new name there, N. Swain.
And Night Shyamalan?
I'm not sure. The guy in 15th place is the one I'm talking about.
Nicholas Swan?
Is that Swan?
Oh, Swain? Yeah, okay.
I'd say Swain, yeah. So Dennis Johnson right now looks like he is going to sneak the pole here from Mike Stoppmill with Brody Steen, Liam Curtin. Liam Curtin up there nice and high in fourth place. Cristiano Pinheiro, Sean Kenny, Andrew D, Gerardo Davell. Just looking for some of the... So it looks like Josiah Jerome's getting up to pace here with the Volkswagen. He's in 12th place. That's better than he was last round. I'll tell you who's not looking great. Ezekiel Shermanando is down in 17th place, and John Barker in 18th place. They were quite high up last round, and they don't seem to be there right now, so it's interesting. Got a little bit of warm-up here for these front-wheel drive touring cars that we were driving. And I guess I'll give everyone good news. My intercostal muscle injury is more or less healed, and I have resumed working out. Although my legs now horribly regret it, and there are certain exercises I feel incredibly nervous about doing, and probably won't actually be doing for a little bit.
We had to delay this commentary by 2 weeks because Mike blew out his Achilles tendon.
This race was only 3 days ago, so that is incorrect. We were delayed 1 day by, well, really both of us kind of passing out.
Kind of, sort of. We both were like, hey, let's meet up after I'll get done work.
And that didn't happen. That was supposed to happen yesterday.
I woke up brain dead. He woke up leg dead.
Oh, the legs are dead.
I completely forgot that I was like supposed to bug you and go, oh yeah, commentary time? Yeah, no.
Ooh, that's a rather warm track considering the air temperature is only 18 degrees. That'll be interesting to see how that ends up being handled. So we're still just waiting here for the warm-up. Not much to really talk about now. People are going to be working on their starts, maybe some last-minute adjustments to their setups, that kind of thing. On the bright side, on Mike's fantasy basketball news, Jared Allen hit a three-pointer. For those of you who don't follow basketball, Jared Allen is a defensive specialist center. He does rebounds, he blocks shots, and he gives you a lot of hustle. He generally doesn't even shoot three balls, so when he makes one, I'm pretty happy.
Mike, I got bad news for you. Basketball's not real. We started as a prank.
Ooh. Oh. Don't tell the Kobe Bryant fans that.
It was all simulation.
It was all the Matrix?
It's like Australia and birds. Not real.
So, again, we don't really have anything going on the track to talk about right now. That's the problem with the warm-up session. It's largely just people making their last-minute adjustments, practicing their starts. There is Mike Stoppmill. Do you think Mike Stoppmill can get in the lead by turn one, I guess, is the question, Byron.
Yeah, probably.
He is starting second, so, I mean, if Dennis Johnson can outstart him, he might be able to lead for a little bit.
Next question is, how many races are we doing here?
We are doing 3 races.
Oh my god! Can't you guys just settle on one race?
Nah, touring cars are always like a relatively short race of. My God, the airborneness going through that turn there from Josiah Jerome. That was 2 wheels in the air. But anyways, touring cars, generally speaking, are a series of short sprint races as opposed to
I
long
vote
races.
we switch it to 10 or 25-minute races.
Got a new guy there, Leonardo or Leandro, depending on how you go with that. Elijah.
Correct. From the great state of Nebraska.
He is starting from dead last, I do believe, unless somebody didn't get a lap time in. So good luck to him. Always nice to see new faces on the grid. And if we butcher your name and or make fun of you, well, the butchering of your name, we apologize for. The making fun of you, I mean, it was in the contract when you joined the Discord server. And if you didn't read the fine print, that's your fault.
It's all in the EULA. You know what? I am kind of disappointed because there was one guy whose name I learned how to pronounce. It was complicatedly Spanish, and then he stopped racing.
Do you have any idea who it was?
Yeah, Luis Hinojos.
Ah, he is still around, but yeah, he is predominantly doing the Race Room Spain stuff.
There you go. But yeah, I learned how to pronounce his name, and then he's like, he even told me how to do it, and I practiced over and over.
And then he pieced out.
And then he just fucked off. What a dick.
So we got an Audi Alfa Romeo front row, then it's Hyundai and Cupra. No Lincoln Coast near the front of the grid, which did very well at Slovakia Ring. We are rolling here as I'm giving that explanation towards the first corner. Mike Stopmill got off to a bad start. It's actually Dennis Johnson and Brody Steen ahead of him now. Interesting.
You actually have to sing "Rollin' by Limp Bizkit" the entire time they do a rolling start.
Oh no, I did. Well, that wasn't a rolling start, so.
Well, it doesn't matter.
So I don't have to do that, and you people don't have to have your ears raped by it because 1, rolling, and 2, me singing.
rolling.
Mike Stoppill looking for a way around Brody Steen. He's also being followed up by, I think that's Cristiano Pinheiro in the. Is Pinheiro in a Volkswagen today? Wow, okay, he is. I don't think he was at the first round, but I could be wrong. We ride on board with Pinheiro. Bit weird that he's got the Swedish flag on the top of that car. Never realized that, actually. The Volkswagen. Not sure who that is, then, that he is driving as.
Did you not know he's from Sweden?
Well, Pinheiro is not. It's a question of what driver in real life drives that car. So I'll be trying to figure that out. Oh, one of the Lincoln goes off. That is Shermanendo. He was near the back anyways, unfortunately. Relatively significant damage there as he drops to the back of the pack. Mike Stopmill has taken the lead, getting past both Johnson and Steen, who are going side by side. Whoa, Cristiano Pinheiro very off the track.
Took a wrong turn at Albuquerque.
Looks like that was at turn 1. I haven't raced around Watkins Glen in race room. I've actually raced this track in real life, but I will probably be guessing a little bit as to which turn is which turn because I'm not sure what layout this is.
Stopmill's out in first.
He is. I said that.
Just so you know.
And Dennis Johnson has got a lot of company here with Andrew D and company. In general, Brody Steen in the mix as well. One of the other.
There's a lot of hopping going on.
There's a lot of hopping there. That's good. It's a little bit of lag. One of the other Alfa Romeos in the mix there. That's Sean Kenny in the white, green, and red car. So it is still Johnson hanging on against Brody Steen, Sean Kenny, Andrew D, Gerardo Daval, and Davide Slute. Or David Slute. See, the fact that he pronounces his name Slute has me like overthinking the David. It's like, is it Davide? Is it David?
I think you're a little nuts on that one, but okay.
Probably.
Especially because it's pronounced David.
Oh, David! There's a good one. That's a good one.
Amateur.
Sean Kenny getting a little bit wide out there as he loses a spot to Andrew D's Cupra. And the two Lincoln Co's go side by side in the background with Slute overtaking Delval. Pardon.
What kind of costume you think he wears at Halloween?
Oh, I'm going to plead the fifth.
Probably something commensurate with his heritage.
I'm gonna do the CT and the challenge where it was trivia, and he just let his partner fall in the water. because he didn't want to answer the question.
That's fair.
I believe the question was, CT, what did your partner say was the trashiest girl still in the house? And he just takes his hat off, puts it over his heart, and says, "Bye, Wes." Just dump him in the water. And that is why CT is a legend of the challenge.
Good old CTE.
Whose actual name is Chris.
Christopher T.
We are looking at Mauricio Delgado, who may or may not be on a journey that involves mystic mushrooms.
I got 2 tickets to paradise.
Mike Stockmill continues on his way. Leading the way from Dennis Johnson. Johnson's holding up well, despite a lot of pressure. Brody Steen in the mix there. Andrew D, Sean Kenny on their tail. The 2 Lincoln Goes have fallen back because they're fighting to the nail. That is Slute and Gerardo.
All right, you ready for headline of the day?
Sure. Oh, hang on. Brody Steen is off track exploring things, which makes sense. He's Australian.
Gonna go walkabout, mate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, headline of the day. Queens GOP leader who calls himself, quote, the Republican Messiah, end quote, charged in Capitol riots after being identified by Knights of Columbus jacket. There's a lot going on in that sentence.
There's a lot going on there.
I'm not going to say anything about what is going on, but the sentence itself is very nice.
Daft Punk broke up. I don't think today, but
Correct.
it might have been yesterday.
Yeah.
I think it was the 21st.
Well, see, here's the thing. Everybody's saying, oh, they retired from music, and then immediately they're following that up. No, they broke up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with which?
It seems like they broke up based on the video I watched, which was from them. It was a little 8-minute video. Of
How
them
would
out
you
in the
know
desert.
it's from them? They wear masks.
Okay, supposedly from them on their official channels.
Right. I'll believe
we'll
that
see.
when I believe Australia's real.
You should really probably consider that Australia's. Hey, Scott Nix in the top 10 in the Volkswagen or in the Lincoln Go there, holding off Cristiano Pinheiro.
Adequate genitalia, Scott Nicholas.
Liam Curtin off to a terrible start. He started in the top 5. He's back to 11th place. That's not a good look, but that is still reverse grid. James Butler, John Barker, Swain, Josiah Jerome has fallen back, unfortunately. Luciano Chazo's having a rough day. We have lost Mauricio Delgado. We saw him earlier on his journey of endless rotations. His car is probably still out there somewhere, actually. Whoa! Okay. That was just a lag thing. Looked like Gerardo had been given a hard ride by Richard. And I'm not sure who the bad connection there is, because Gerardo, of course, Mexican driver, not necessarily known for the greatest internet, but Richard, for a Canadian, has terrible internet. It's kind of like an airborne original recipe problem going on here, where he probably would be better off just hot spotting off his phone.
What's this about, Canadian hotboxing?
Hot spotting, not hot boxing.
Oh, my bad.
Slute is pulling away from them a little bit, but he is unable to stay with the top 5. Stockmill well ahead of Johnson. Sean Kenny just picked up 3rd over Andrew D. So let's see if D is off track. Well, side by side, very off track there. I think that'll let Kenny and Steen through against D. Swain and Barker having a fight over 13th place. Hopefully we get that a little bit on camera at some point. Douglas DeGroat is back.
Duggity. Dig Dug himself.
He enjoyed the fact that on the ACC entry lists, so what happens is usually when we do an ACC entry list, I intentionally spell people's names wrong to see if it's working.
Nice.
Because if you spell it correctly, it just shows the name correctly. There's no evidence that it's working. But if you spell it incorrectly, it'll change the name, and that's how you know it's working. Anyways, I've been naming him Douglas I Am Groot repetitively, and he has enjoyed that. As Gerardo losing a spot to Richard DeRoche there for 7th place. What are some of the other interesting ones I've named people? Well, Nicholas Ali had the unfortunate moment of having the last name Ali, and therefore I made him Nicholas Ali Eldelziz. who is an incredibly dirty manager in the MMA world.
Correct.
With links to all kinds of unsavory criminal activities, including the guy who got a case delivered to him at Fight Island there and somehow hasn't been cut despite violating every COVID procedure. Which makes me think that was Dana White's cocaine. Didn't hear that from me. That's just a theory.
You're probably not wrong.
Sean Kenny hanging on to third place against Brody Steen and Andrew D.
It's probably a rush shipment of Pinkberry for him.
Double Alfa Romeo podium. I actually did not realize that until right now. I mean, we got 11 minutes to go. Plenty of time to change. His third place is far from secure as Sean Kenny goes very wide there. But we may see a double Alpha podium for the first time in ESR WTC history, TCR history, and possibly WTCR history in general. Because Alpha has not been the most successful of brands. As Brody Steen looks down the inside, trying to get past, and he does for now. I love Watkins, Glen. That was the inner-outer loop that they were going through after the back straight and into the outer loop. Brody still hanging on to third place there. Sean Kenny in fourth. Andrew D on their tail in the Cupra. I would say it's actually pretty easy to identify the logos for this one because they're relatively common brands of car. And I forget that the Lincoln Co. and the Cooper are in there. And probably very few people watching this have actually seen a Lincoln Co. or a Cooper. As Sean Kenny still trying to get back up onto that podium, but is being held off for now.
Good old Lincoln and Company.
Basically, they're Volvo. They bought Volvo, and that's basically what those cars are.
But why would you do that?
Volvo's a quality brand. My dad had a Volvo, and it lasted forever. And that's my dad driving it. I mean, come on. That's the highest. It's the highest endorsement I can give a car. My dad failed to kill it. I'm going to assume that that's some serious lag going on, but
nope, it's all skill, baby.
I don't know. Brody Steen and Sean Kenny going a little crazy there. We hop on board with Andrew D, running in fifth place, behind Brody Steen and Sean Kenny, and then back up to Brody. Sean Kenny is being shown in third, which is incorrect. There we go. Steen's up to third. Might just be a ping issue. Josiah Jerome's charging back through the field. He's up to 13th place. Looking to get that reverse grid pole, which currently is held by Liam Curtin. Interesting to see a couple of guys who qualified near the front are just not having a great race here. I would certainly put Liam Curtin as well as Cristiano Pinheiro in that category. And Luciano Ochazo. Andrew D going for the move on Sean Kenny and might try to go for Brody Steen as well and muscles his way through into fourth place in the Cupra.
Super duper Cupra?
Super duper Cupra. There's part of this track that looks literally like a boot, and they just completely lean into it. Turn 7 is toe, turn 8 is heel. And the straightaway that connects the two is boot.
What the fuck? Not leg 1 and leg 2?
No, there's only one boot. So, can't really do leg 1, leg 2.
But there's 2 straightaways, and they could each be a leg of the track. And it's part of a boot.
There's only one straightaway, though. That's the problem.
No. Then it's not a boot.
It's a boot, but like it's a really, well, I guess it is. I guess it's a shoe. You are right. It's probably more of a shoe than it is.
It's a friggin' slipper.
And it's Mind Blue Esports. Interesting. That's who Mr. Swain is repping. John Barker running in 14th place ahead of him in the Honda. Is John Barker the only Honda in the field? That's fairly surprising. It's one of the better cars in WTCR and has some very, very nice liveries, but it looks like just John Barker is representing the brand. Plenty of Lincoln Co. representation. Plenty of Hyundai. Not that many Hyundais, I guess. Only 3. 2 Alphas. Or I guess 4 Alphas. Wow. Looks like we've lost Sherman Ando. That puts us down to 21 cars. James Butler in a sandwich chasing Scott Nick and Cristiano Pinheiro in behind.
I do like a good sandwich.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, this would be a Chinese sandwich. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much you're gonna love that.
Oh, it's just you get some toast, you put some spring rolls in there.
Side by side in the background between Butler and Pinheiro. And Pinheiro keeps his nerve and takes 10th place. Still feels like Cristiano probably was in for more here. The Volkswagen was up the front in qualifying, and it has not held out well in the race. That being said, 11th place or 10th place would be third on the reverse grid. William Curtin just snagging and Josiah Jerome battling over the pole position on the reverse grid, currently held by Curtin in the Cupra against the Volkswagen of Josiah Jerome.
Dude, enjoy me some pole action.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna leave that there.
Just leave that standing out there. Nice free target.
Let that be. You can interpret that like 6 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I have a supposed movie fact.
Oh, hang on. Pinheiro going for the move.
Ooh.
But the camera cut away from it, so please. Oh, hang on. We're back. We're back.
Hey, put him in the wall.
Pinheiro being held off. Butler going on the attack as well. Scott Nick hanging on, though. And Butler squeezes up the inside of Pinheiro. This is going to turn into a good run for Pinheiro down to the next corner, though. Can he get the job done? Cristiano Pinheiro in the Volkswagen. The Christofferson one. And, okay, that's who's driving. That's who that car that is. Oh boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
He hangs on. Okay. Your movie facts, sir.
In keeping with the Scott Nick, I have no proof that this is a real fact, but it is on the internet and therefore true. Willem Dafoe was forced to use a body double for the nude scenes in Antichrist because his junk was, quote, confusingly large, end quote.
Okay. Interesting. Pinheiro getting attacked by Josiah Jerome there. Hey, we got a Volkswagen front row if this hangs on as is.
We here at ESR do not condone the reading of random internet, quote, facts, end quote.
Yes, we do.
But we will do it. Josiah Jerome, you using the part of the, I believe it's the 1940s German flag today, I think.
Trinidad and Tobago, I do believe.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense. A lot more sense.
Will not have you besmirching Josiah Jerome like that.
I was confused. I'm like, why is he...
John Barker under pressure from Douglas DeGroat, who is looking to get past here. And up ahead of them is, I've forgotten his first name now, but Mr. Swain. And, whoa, Douglas, that's not the track. And I imagine that it's a track cut penalty right there. But no drive-through, so good to go.
No drive-through. We have food at home.
And in the background is the Cupra of Luciano Ichazo and the Tom Coronel car, which has been very, very popular, but ironically not driven by Mike Stoffmill, the actual Dutch driver. Trying to think if there's any random thoughts on the WTCRs. Well, the story I have, and you may actually find this enjoyable, Byron. Back in 2014, the Citroen Car Company got into WTCC, which is the predecessor to WTCR.
Do they look like lemons?
They do not.
Well, what kind of Citroen are you talking about?
Citronella, not citrus acid.
Citronella?
um, anyways, so Jack relayed this on the marshalling report, and I had known this story, but it refreshed my memory as somebody is going very, very slowly there. That's Josiah Jerome going very slowly. Interesting. Has he run out of gas again?
Maybe.
I'm gonna laugh at him if he's run out of gas again.
Get yourself a solar powered car, motherfucker.
But anyways, the story is that during the development of the car, they had drivers Yvonne Muller, Sebastian Loeb, and Jose Maria Lopez take the car out and literally just try to break the front wheels. Like
Nice.
they were ramming into each other with the sole intent of trying to break the front wheels, because in touring car racing, things get very, very physical, and broken front wheels are a pretty common race-ending feat. So they were trying to prove that the Citroens could not break their front wheels, which was interesting.
It's a pretty good strategy.
Mm-hmm. I don't believe I ever learned if they had broken any wheels on that day, or if they actually failed over the course of like several hours of driving around the track to break a front wheel. But they did dominate the following season in 2014, finishing 1-2-3 in the championship, with Lopez taking the overall title.
Very nice.
From Yvonne Muller and Sebastian Loeb. And that was Sebastian Loeb really just racing touring cars for the first time. He's a big name in motorsports, but it's predominantly rally. This was his really first time doing racing like this, street course. James Butler trying to get past Scott Nick. Time has expired, so next time past the finish line probably is the end of the race for these guys. Mike Stoppbill actually only about 4.3 seconds ahead. That's pretty respectable, actually.
To get Sebastian Loeb, Sebastian Vettel, and that Sebastian guy from the Avengers make a race team.
I mean, you can make a lot of... There were a couple of F1 teams that were all Sebastian Buemi and Sebastian Bourdais at one point were on the same team.
Did they call them
and Sebastian Vettel and Sebastian Bourdais also were on the same team. Because
did they call them the Sebastian brothers?
They did not. Missed opportunities. Because Buemi was replaced by Vettel on that team, and you got Sebastian Part 2. Or I can't remember if it was Vettel was replaced by Buemi or Buemi was replaced. Whatever. One of them replaced the other. Can't remember which order it was. Two of the many Red Bull drivers that probably deserve more of a chance. Oh, God.
Hello.
Cristiano Pinheiro is ground control to Major Pinheiro.
Show you the world.
Finish line is out. We're looking at an empty track, and I don't really know how to call the action.
Stop me a win!
Stop Mill did win, and we're waiting for a results page.
And Johnson inches across the line. Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if we're on the cooldown lap or if this is still going. Unfortunately, Pinheiro's connection problems have... It's a cooldown lap. Okay. I could say Mike Stoppmill is one from Dennis Johnson, Brody Steen, Andrew D., this man, Sean Kenny, David Slute, Gerardo Daval, Richard DeRoche, Scott Nick, James Butler, Cristiano Pinheiro may or may not make the grid for race number 2. And pole position will either go to Mr. Swain, I apologize, I do not remember your first name, or John Barker.
They're both named Quasimodo.
Steve Davidson, Luciano Chazo. Josiah dropped a couple more spots, and in fact finished in dead last, so of the cars that finished, I should clarify. I think he was running out of gas again. And we here at ESR do not let you forget such things.
Possibly correct.
So he better come up with a reason that it wasn't other than gas. Otherwise, oh boy. You can ask Paul Riccobeni. I'm like a dog with a bone when it comes to people running out of gas. Fastest lap, Sean Kenny. Interesting. Just wouldn't have thought he was in the position to put that fastest lap up, but he did indeed.
As Michael Magus' attorney, I would like to confirm that he is in favor of you having gas.
Yes. Yes.
Weirdly so, obsessively so.
Very obsessively so. So we got the warm-up phase once again here. So Byron, The Miz is champion once again. How do you feel about that?
Who?
The Miz.
Like,
WWE Miz.
why?
Because he beat Drew Galloway.
Why?
Because they needed a transitional champion for unknown reasons.
Because they didn't want fucking your boy Drew McMacken Galloway to lose to Roman Reigns again, or?
The theory is that this is a transitional way to get the belt on Bobby Lashley.
I mean,
problem is Lashley is a heel, McIntyre is a face, so why do you need a transitional champion?
doesn't make any sense. Let's protect Drew by getting to lose to the equivalent of two of the Three Stooges, rather than actually have him lose a match to a competitive piece of opposition.
I mean, they did protect him because it was a elimination chamber type deal where he got beat up pretty good by Lashley and then Money in the Bank cash in. So
Okay.
like he was, I will say this much, he was protected. I just still don't know why we're doing this.
And then they had him stand tall with the toe press down pin maneuver on Bobby Lashley after Bobby Lashley accidentally tripped on his own bootlaces and then knocked himself out, and thus the feud is born. Am I wrong?
Born.
Is that wrong?
I have no idea what WWE is doing at this point.
They don't know what they're doing at this point because they're run by a 90-year-old weirdo.
Vince thinks he knows what he's doing.
Vince hasn't known what he was doing since 1983.
Nah, I think he knew what he was doing in the Attitude Era and even the Ruthless Aggression Era. I don't think he came up with the ideas, but I think he was aware at least of what was happening.
These are possible futures that Doctor Strange has seen.
I mean, one of those possible futures is Marty Jannetty is world champion, so
it's probably your best move. What if they would have shaved his head, done like a horrendous hardcore match? Your boy Jannetty shaves his head and starts just really wailing on people. He doesn't stick with the Rockers theme.
It's always weird how some of the tag teams just ended up being like at one point people thought Jannetty was the money in that team, and I'm just like, interesting. It's kind of like the best example of modern times would be like America's Most Wanted, where everyone was like, Chris Harris is going to be really good. I'm like, no, the answer has always been James Storm.
Yeah, that's true. I can say, being a child at the time, that the Rockers were rocking, and I got to see matches, if not live, then like a week's tape delay, because that's how they rolled back then. Marty Jannetty, very much the reliable one. He's the one in the match you could always count on to be.
Oh, that I understand. Because Shawn Michaels at various points in his career, very unreliable. Oh God. I mean, this is the guy that the Undertaker was like, all right, I'm gonna go sit back at gorilla position. I'm gonna take my fists, and Shawn Michaels is gonna do what's right for business, or we're gonna have words. Apparently, Shawn Michaels remembers nothing of that night and actually had to ask The Undertaker, did you actually tape your fists and we're waiting for me backstage? Like, and we're off.
Where are we off?
With a really terrible...
Are they off the track?
Camera view? There they are. There we go.
Oh my goodness, there's carnage in the backfield.
So early lead goes to Cristiano Pinheiro from James Butler. So it looks like Pinheiro's internet connection has held out long enough to make it into race number 2. That is good. Richard Roche's up to 3rd place, so he's having a good little start here. Looking himself a podium. Where is Mike Stockmill at?
2nd place.
No, not 2nd place. He is actually down in 14th, so he's gone backwards. Interesting enough, Mike Stoppmill appears not to have got the launch control down because we noted at Slovakia Ring he lost a couple spots off the line, and in race 1 he did as well, and again here. So we have found something that Mike Stoppmill is not amazing at, which
And
is
the
stunning.
other one is whatever that guy
And
said. Ezekiel.
Shermanando. Someone did not tell Mr. Shermanando that there was a second race, and he is back at the grid.
What's your name?
So
Ezekiel.
Pinheiro, Butler, and DeRoche, if I may be so bold, need to kind of like not fight with each other and just go do fast laps, get forward. Because you've got Gerardo coming as well as Scott Nick, David Slute, Sean Kenny. Looks like Richard is not listening to me on that matter and overtakes James Butler. Although, admittedly, I don't know Butler has the pace to make the run, so that might be a good move. I have faith that both DeRoche and Pinheiro have pace that would allow them to possibly win this race if they can just kind of put as much distance between this man and them as possible. Mike Stockmel, who's up to 8th place. We got a code 60 on the play. I don't know what that means anymore. I used to know.
I enjoy the little dancing cars.
Indeed, he's a little bit extreme. He's ahead of Dennis Johnson. Luciano Chazo up to 10th.
Can we get some xylophone music over this?
Andrew D has had something terrible happen to him. He's down in 19th, and Brody Steen all the way down in 17th. So that's not great. Pinheiro continues to lead from DeRoche, Butler, Delval, Nick, Kenny, Slute, Stockmill, Johnson, Ichazo, Barker, and Jerome on the front row for race number 3 if it were to end right now. And Richard DeRoche going for the lead. Wants to bring that trophy home to Hyundai. I think Butler may have screwed himself over there by trying to go like for the double pass. And I don't think that was ever really on. And DeRoche is... No, maybe not. Pinheiro coming back. Can we get the fight? Thank you.
Nope.
Pinheiro versus DeRoche. DeRoche currently ahead in the Hyundai against the Volkswagen. Things you don't expect to see here at a racing track. Hyundai versus Volkswagen.
I'm waiting for the Datsuns.
So DeRoche does take the lead from Pinheiro. Butler is still there, and now up on the back of it is Del Valle. Scott Nick is falling back. He's lost a spot to Sean Kinney in the Alfa Romeo. Defensive move there by DeRoche as he retains the lead. He needs to sprint right now. And like I said, I don't know if fighting for the lead was the best idea, but I think him and Pinheiro should have hooked up and done some drafting to get clear. Because Stockmill, he coming. He's up to 7th place, and next on his list is Scott Nick.
Oh, drafty boys, the stuff is coming.
And I don't mean to sound dismissive of Scott Nick, but I am being dismissive of Scott Nick. I have immense faith that Mike Stockmill is going to make that move.
Scott Nick's going to make like one weird hip fleck and trip Stoffmill's car right off the track.
Dennis Johnson is actually sticking very close to Stockmill. He's actually only a little over 1/10 of a second behind him. Mr. Swain is dropped back through the field to 18th place as well. Wayne Hutchison up to 15th. DeGroat to 14th. Davidson 13th. David Slute on the tail of Dennis Johnson and Mike Stockmill. Stockmill is actually having a hard time getting past Scott Nick, which is a little surprising. We pick him back up again. That is Scott Nick in the Lincoln Co. ahead of him, the blue car. All of the cyan blue cars are the Lincoln Co. crew. Not a tremendous amount of creativity in their liveries.
But I thought Link was the main character. Like, he didn't need a company of people.
He definitely needs a company of people. He needs that.
Wild.
He needs that fairy thing that yells at him and goes, "Hey, listen!" Riding on board with Mike Stockmill. all over the back end of Scott Nick. As looks to the inside, and I think he's going to get it. Through he goes. And the inner loop proving to be in popular overtaking destination right now.
I think you just cut right through the fence there and then cut him off and run the next corner.
I think, unfortunately, this layout actually just cuts right through the boot, which is disappointing. Could be
saying that we're not going to get any slute on the bootay?
No, it doesn't look like this particular layout of the track uses the boot.
Scott Stockfield in 6th place. There he goes. God, look at him go.
Indeed, look at him go. And the Alpha is ahead. Dennis Johnson coming through with him. So Dennis Johnson sticking with him. And we ride on board with David Slute, who is looking to move through as well. And overtake Scott Nick. Because I'm not mistaken, this is the inner-outer loop exchange here, which should lead into the boot. But it doesn't look like it is. Looks like down to the left there, that would be the boot. This is just the long straightaway backstretch that they use on some layouts.
You're saying that Slute is doing the lupe?
I mean, they're all doing the lupe. Sean Kinney on the tail of Delvale and Butler. By the way, James Butler is doing a fantastic job of hanging around in 3rd place. I was saying earlier I didn't know if he had the pace. It looks like he definitely does. He is putting up a astounding effort there as Sean Kinney overtakes Gerardo Deval, who goes a little bit wide there.
Cristiano, you put the pedal to the metal, and then you get around the track. Because Stop Mill, he coming for you.
He come for you. Well, right now it's Gerardo that's got to worry about the Stop Mill charge, but it will be other people's problem. If we go with the little Hitler logic at this point, not my problem. Now it's my problem.
Stuff Mill's like climate change. You can ignore it, but it's gonna happen.
Sean Kinney looking to get up onto that podium against James Butler. We're talking about the double alpha podium in race 1, which did not come to pass. Kenny would like that podium. And he's got it for now. Getting past James Butler.
What's the podium, Kenneth? It's your Ron Benzedrine. Right?
Possibly.
Don't you dare gainsay my singing technology.
I'm just saying. You might not be that guy.
I potentially could be that individual.
I believe Amos Burton is that guy.
I mean, that's possible too.
Although staying on the Amos Burton kick, what in anyone's mind would possess someone when Amos Burton is looking at you very threateningly to punch him before he's gotten violent with you?
Yeah, that was good.
That's just a bad call.
I do like the fact that he went after Jackass McCreepy guy at the end of that. Was it like for the last scene of the end of that season?
It was the end of the season. It was season finale.
Yeah. Go to the guy to punching him, and then tore that guy up.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't get to see it, but you know that's what happened.
You knew what was going to happen.
And that character never came back again.
Yeah, well, he's either in jail or in the morgue. I mean, I don't know which, but it's even money. Don't throw the first punch at Amos Barton. It's not going
That's
to work.
on film. He threw the first punch. Yep, he's right.
You come at the king. You best not miss. And, well, you did not miss. You did not finish the job.
Also, what possessed that man to think in his mind that he was going to punch the Amos Burton and anything else was going to happen? What went through that guy's head? Like, no, I could take him.
James Butler looking
sure
for a move there. Sean Kenny down the inside of Cristiano Pinheiro, though. Very smooth from the Alfa Romeo driver, but Pinheiro is fighting back in the Volkswagen.
Oh my God, stop Bill down to 14th place. Just kidding, made you look.
You really didn't, actually, because I could see him in the shot.
Not you.
Speaking of which, there is Mike Stopmill looking to make a move on Pinheiro. Pinheiro, this has gone really pear-shaped on him because he lost that spot to Kenny, and also Butler and Delval are through. And I think Stopmill's coming through as well. So he's gone from 2nd place down to 6th place. And really just a couple of corners. And I think Dennis Johnson in the Audi might actually have a chance of making a move there as well. We got 8 minutes to go. Fair amount of the race. And I feel like Pinheiro's day has gone from not too long ago being possibly a race victory to suddenly he's looking at defending 6th place. And I don't know if he'll be able to take it.
Oh, I think he'll take it.
I don't know. We'll find out. As I head down to the run to... I mean, the problem here is my track map is completely inaccurate in terms of turn numbers because of the potentially not being the right layout. But the final turn coming up, there we go. To the start-finish straight there is Mike Stopmill trying to get past the Lincoln Co. of Gerardo Delval and into 4th place for the Dutchman. Dennis Johnson in the background making his move as well, and it looks like they will both be unsuccessful. Oh no, Johnson might have gotten him. Pinheiro, I think, overcooked it a little bit into turn 1. Oh, one of the Coopers off in the wall there. Either Zach Wolf or Andrew D would be my thought.
It is Julio von Frankenstein.
Looks like it might have been Zach Wolf, and it might have actually been Andrew D he got bumping with. So that might have been some Cooper on Cooper violence.
Somebody got Pearl Harbored.
So Stopmill the 5th has tried to get past Gerardo once. It was unsuccessful. Dennis Johnson actually was the one who pounced and took Cristiano Pinheiro for 6th.
Pounce.
Dennis Johnson looks very on the pace today. Did not do badly at Slovakia Ring, to be clear, but this is a step up at pace, and it seems like I don't want to say he can keep Stopmill, he can beat Stopmill or really be in his league, but it does feel like he might be able to at least keep him honest, and that's an interesting line Richard Roche is running. Speaking of which, Johnson's going for a move on Stopmill as Stopmill's going for a move on Delval, and then internet problems happened, and Cristiano Pinheiro ended up getting a spot.
Out of nukes his internet. Screw you, hippie.
Pretty much. Mike Stopmill doing some Star Trek shit, and up into 4th place.
Gonna get you, gonna get you.
Martin, if you would care to edit in a Marlo Stanfield looking very, very deep in thought as he looks at a building that Omar Little may or may not have done Spider-Man shit out of. You didn't watch The Wire for that long, did you? You didn't see that part, I don't think. Because you always said that you were not familiar with the kids' storyline.
Yeah, it's season 4, about, I don't know, a third of the way through, I just kind of lost interest. I didn't really give a shit about the kids.
Did you come back for the finale, or
I said, fuck them kids. No, I've got it on Blu-ray. Like, I've got the whole season. I've got the whole series on Blu-ray. I just haven't got around to going back.
Dennis Johnson overtaking into 6th place there around the outside of Cristiano Pinheiro, so he's coming back. Basically, there's no spoilers here because, I mean, Omar being in a gunfight is not exactly a spoiler. Omar gets into a gunfight, ends up escaping through improbable means, and Chris, Marlo Stanfield's top enforcer, is explaining what happened, and Marlo just looks at the building with this deeply, deeply thoughtful expression on his face and goes, "It doesn't seem possible. Some Spider-Man shit right there. Richard DeRoche under surprising pressure from Sean Kenny here down the stretch for the race victory.
I believe it was the warrior poet Michael Jordan Steen who once said, "Fuck them kids."
Fuck them kids.
Stuff Mill's got 4 minutes.
Sean Kenny looking to the inside. Will Sean Kenny take the victory for Alfa Romeo?
Oh, yes, the Beta Romeo.
Moves briefly into lead. I'm going to say DeRoche had a little bit more speed coming off that corner, but it is the lead for Sean Kenny. Probably about 2 laps to go. Ahead of Richard DeRoche. James Butler is hanging on to third. Mike Stoppmill in fourth. And it's Dennis Johnson, Gerardo Daval, Cristiano Pinheiro. Stoppmill just hit. Oh, wait, Stoppmill actually just hanging on to fourth. And Dalval apparently went for a move on Stoppmill, ended up losing a spot to Dennis Johnson. Rounding off the top 10 and to Cristiano Pinheiro, so he may have gone off.
The Johnson just inches around him.
May see the Mexican veteran going backwards at this point. Richard DeRoche going down the inside. But the Alfa Romeo closes the door. Rounding off the top 10, we have Luciano Achazo, Scott Nick, and Josiah Jerome, with the last reverse grid spots right now going to John Barker and David Slute. Slute having a bit of an unimpressive race too here, but it might come back to help him because that is pole for race number 2, but he's got Brody Steen on his tail.
What is pole? Baby, don't hurt me.
Looks like we've lost Zach Wolf and Douglas DeGroat from the race, so we're down to 17 cars. And across the finish line once again. Is this the finish line, or are we not quite there? Might not be quite there. And Mike Stoppmill looking to the inside of James Boutelier. Shoving him out wide onto the dirty stuff. But Lincoln Co. remains ahead of the Alfa Romeo. Forgot this is like a minute 14 laps, so we probably still actually have 2 more laps to go.
9 more laps to go.
When I said we had 2 laps to go, it was probably 3 would have been more accurate.
And Mike Stoppmill gets on the radio and says, "Relax, baby, just let it happen."
James Butler, I don't think ever really lets it happen.
That's probably true, but it's gonna happen. Oh, look, it happened.
There it happened. Yeah, there are some people who definitely will let it happen when Mike Stoppmill comes up behind them. I just don't think James Butler is one of them.
No, I don't think so either.
James Butler, and I say this just as a factual statement as opposed to any kind of like negative or con about him as a driver. James Butler drives for the thrill of it, and there's not a ton of like thought towards like an end position. It's I'm here to fight for every centimeter of this track.
Deploy countermeasures.
Sean Kenny leads. We got the double alpha podium right now with Kenny in first and Stoppmill in third. In between them, in between that Alfa Romeo bread sandwich, Richard DeRoche in the Hyundai.
You really into sandwiches.
We got some like really nice Italian breads surrounding like Korean barbecue right now.
Sounds pretty gangster.
She does sound pretty good.
Put a little pickled onion on there.
Could be the final lap here.
Nice firm yet chewy mozzarella.
Might be the last lap. Might be one more left. There's 20 seconds on the clock as they come into the home stretch.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner is Cristiano Pinheiro, because everyone else is disqualified.
It's definitely not going to be Pinheiro, I don't think. Well, I mean, it might be. Top 5 could have a horrible, horrible accident. It's going to be Sean Kenny.
Kenneth, frequency, finish line.
Is found.
Indeed.
Joining him on the podium, Richard DeRoche and Mike Stoppmill. James Butler with a very quality run to 4th place ahead of Dennis Johnson, Cristiano Pinheiro, Gerardo Daval. That is one of the Hyundais crashing into the wall at the end. Maybe AI failure. Luciano Chazo, 8th place. Scott Nick, 9th. Josiah Jerome, 10th. And then it is John Barker and Brody Steen, who will start on pole for race number 3. Do you think Brody Steen can pull it off in race number 3? Starting
I don't
first
wanna,
with Stop Mill back
I
in
don't
10th.
wish to speak ill of the Steen, but no.
Does not think Brody Steen can pull it off. I don't know.
I don't know the man.
I got concerns.
I don't know the man personally, but
You would put him in the wall?
I would put him in a wall.
Ride on board with John Barker as he heads back to the pit lane as we get ready for the third warm-up phase here. And then race number 3, it will be Brody Steen leading from John Barker, Josiah Jerome, and Scott Nick on row 2. Josiah Jerome might be an interesting dark horse there as well, starting from third.
Third place in the third race. You know what that means? Not really a lot.
Somebody off the track there. One of the Lincoln
Yeah,
comes.
it's fine.
Might have been James Butler just by process of elimination, to be honest.
Oh, backing up into traffic, that's disqualification immediately. I've learned this.
It's the cool down lap. All right, there are the results. Hopefully, Mr. DeGroat, Mr. Wolf, and Mr. Shermanando make the grid for race number 3. But we might be down to 17 cars. We'll find out what happens next. Mike Stoffmill gets the fastest lap. In the race, he doesn't win. Interesting. So we got the warm-up phase here. I'm going to give you guys the update you never really thought you wanted for my fantasy basketball team. Kevin Herter's kicking ass tonight, 22 points. Nice. Luka Doncic in action after sitting out all of last week. Fuck. So who you got? You got Stop Mill in race number 3?
I mean, the odds are favorable, so yeah.
I'm gonna go with Brody's team. Don't let me down, Brody. Pressure's on.
Mike, when are we gonna have another fantasy NFL thing so I can completely ignore it and still win?
We can do that anytime you want.
Let's do it right now.
Well, I mean, I could set it up right now, but we gotta wait till the season starts before things actually happen.
I suppose.
This weekend, I'll also be running the first of my simulated fight cards for my new promotion, which I still haven't really got a name for. I've got a couple suggestions that I'm rolling around in my
Dick
head.
Slappers Incorporated.
It definitely will not be Dick Slappers Incorporated. If you want a fighter for the simulated fight league,
Ultimate Blood Challenge.
That just sounds lewd.
Supreme Destructionary Combat Association.
That's better. That's better.
Oh wait, I gotta come up with a dumb acronym and then put words in the acronym. That's how this.
That usually is how this happens. We figure out the acronym and then fill in words to fit it.
Your boy Josiah is going to win this race. Watch. Look at this. Look at this. Look at it. He's still in first place.
He is starting from third on the grid. So, like I said, interesting dark horse in the Volkswagen. Which car is he driving? That's the Benjamin Leuchter car. Okay.
You can call your simulated fight league Combates de Norte America.
Combates has had some surprisingly good fights, but they do kind of fail to put together a card that really intrigues me.
You go with Ultimo Fight Companion or something like. Call it UFC, but don't use the like the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And then just get sued by the UFC in the sim.
All right. The grid is forming. And it will be Brody Steen leading us away.
Remember, kids, do some technology. Get yourself a steam-powered car.
Probably not the greatest idea in the world.
Wow, you're just saying he's going to win.
Steen, not Steam.
That's what I said.
All right, here we go. 2 cars in the pits still that we are awaiting to join. 1 Cupra and 1 Lincoln Co.
Michael, what is your race fuel du jour of this evening?
Just water, actually.
Right, me too.
Totally. All right, here we go. Brody Steen leads the way for Hyundai from pole with the Honda of John Barker, Josiah Jerome, Scott Nick on row 2, Ichazo, Delval on row 3, and we are off at Watkins Glen for the 3rd and final race of round 2 of the WTCR Championship. Leading the way it is Brody Steen. Good jump from Josiah Jerome. Not so great from John Barker. He slips to 3rd, followed by Luciano Chazo, who's up to 4th place. Good for him. Scott Nick, Gerardo Deval, Pinheiro, Johnson, Butler, DeRoche, Kenny, Slute. Stopmill drops back to 13th place. So he dropped 3 spots again. Davidson, D, Swain. Oh, one of the Lincoln Co's in the wall. Not sure who that is. That is, I think, David Slute, who is dropping back.
Slipping and sliding and sluting.
So we did lose somebody from last race, and I think it was Ezekiel Shermanando. Slute in 18th place. Looks like DeGroat may not have gotten off the line, though. Gerardo Delval bobbing and weaving against Scott Nick. No Martin Edmonds in the field, actually. I had not realized that. I do remember he said he was not racing in this race, so I should have remembered that. Brody Steen at the front. Josiah Jerome. John Barker, Luciano Chazo. Barker looking for an inside move there on Josiah Jerome. Volkswagen v Honda, 2 most popular brands in the world. Gerardo Deval on the tail of Scott Nick with Pinheiro in the background. Then it is Dennis Johnson.
I was going to make a smart remark about the popularity of the Australian brand, and I remember A, somebody bought it and shut it down like EA with games, and B, I don't remember the name of the company.
Holden?
There you go.
Holden is still around, but they are not an independent company anymore. They are merely a brand.
And they also don't make Holden anymore. They just make whoever bought them, they just make those.
Yeah, it's a GM, I do believe.
Could be. Generalized Motorship. Smash Stuff Meal already up to 1.1th place. Oh, 11th, my bad. I just imagined
there he is on the screen, on the tail of James Butler.
Go get you.
Probably is the guy that Brody Steen wants ahead of Mike Stopmill really badly is James Butler, because we were talking about how James Butler doesn't give you a free pass. But, he'll make Stopmill work a little.
This is an interesting thing I've just noticed. We do these commentaries all the time, and therefore we're watching simulated racing footage a lot.
Yeah.
Now these videos, before they are published, are unlisted, so that people won't see them without commentary, because they are much more inferior without commentary. Let's be honest.
Indeed. There's some physicality there between Ichazo and Jerome, I think, but
Daddy likes. But you'd think that Google would keep track of all of the simulated race footage we're seeing here, and I would see a lot more of it pop up in my recommended feed. And yet, none of that happens.
That's a good point. Admittedly, none of it's really, it's not tagged in any way. I think that's maybe it. Because, I mean, as far as YouTube is concerned, this is a random video called ESR TCR Round 2 pre-commentary, which doesn't really link into any kind of race simulation.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still Google. They know what the video is.
Josiah Jerome on the tail of John Barker. Brody Steen's jumped out to a good lead there. He's up 2.3 seconds.
Nice.
I mean, even Mike Stoppmill only got the gap up to 4.5 in race 1. So Josiah Jerome down the inside of John Barker. Chazo is licking his chops watching these two fight. And then it is the Lincoln Co. of Scott Nick and Gerardo Daval. Seems like there's always a Lincoln Co. racing another Lincoln Co. whenever we see them. Oh boy! Oh boy! John Barker in the wall! John Barker in the wall!
Looks like he was barkering up the wrong tree.
Feels like I don't know. Just from like watching that and doing the commentary, that felt very racing incident as John Barker is sideways in the inner loop again, so he's having problems. I don't know. It just looked like a series of moves that weren't necessarily a problem, except that what Ichazo and what Jerome were doing was like the exact wrong things for the situation. And Barker
the disposable
was on the podium, has now been shuffled back to 13th place, and Luciano Ichazo is up in his second place ahead of Gerardo Daval, who is trying to take the spot.
Anymore.
They're more or less like, okay, now Daval's got the overtake done. Scott Nick in the mix there, as well as Josiah Jerome. Jerome falling back as well. Brody Steen needs to be pushing like a madman without killing his tires right now. Is Delval into second place ahead of Ichazo, Jerome, Nick. Where is Stoppmill? He is at the back of this pack in 8th place, fighting with Cristiano Pinheiro.
Correct, but he went from 11th to 8th really quickly in like one dramatic move, it looks like.
Oh,
yeah,
Richard DeRoche.
Not safe.
That was sketch.
I'm in favor of it. Do it again.
Well, I think 2 of the spots he picked up were DeRoche falling back and well into the position you see him in now, and John Barker's issues. So that does assist.
Maybe.
But Stoppmill into. Doesn't really matter how he got there. He's in 7th place, and Dennis Johnson next on his list. Looks like we've lost Slute, and it looks like DeGroat may not have actually gotten off the line.
That is possible.
Might have thought we only had 2 races today as opposed to 3. Looking back at the Cupra of Luciano Ichazo from the Lincoln Co. of Gerardo Daval. Sean Kinney, race 2 winners, up to 9th place. Josiah Jerome getting out there on the marbles. Shouldn't be too bad, the marbles here with these touring cars. They're not super grip sensitive. Dennis Johnson on the tail of Scott Nick. Really would like to get Scott Nick between himself and the man you see in his rear view, Mike Stoppmill.
Ooh, I like that rear view.
And Johnson might have... He does have it done. That's 5th place in the Come To You Audi.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
Background there, Cristiano Pinheiro fighting against Sean Kinney. And coming up on top of the scrap for 8th place. Once again, we have a lovely sandwich of Alfa Romeo bread with the Volkswagen filling. As Mike Stoppmill looks to get past Scott Nick, and he does. I think Scott Nick gave him a little bit of a free pass there. I don't blame him. Just saying. I don't think that was full. I don't think that defense was turned up to 10.
Go for the reverse pit. You just turn sideways and let him T-bone you.
Meantime, Sean Kinney looking to get past Cristiano Pinheiro. And does not succeed, at least for the time being. Although, briefly it showed him ahead there on the leaderboard. But I don't think he ever actually did get ahead. Brody Steen watch up to 4.8 seconds ahead of Gerardo Daval.
And then
Josiah Jerome doing a little bit of explorative line work there, but hangs on to 4th place against Dennis Johnson for the time being. Stoppmill in the mix there in the Alpha, as they are all chasing down Gerardo Daval, who currently holds on to 2nd place for Lincoln Co. Defensive move there from Josiah Jerome. It's going to work for now, but it does seem like maybe That car is driving Josiah as opposed to the other way around. And Mike Stoppmill, while Dennis Johnson is focused on trying to get past, almost caught him napping and almost took 5th place. Here comes the Alpha.
He's coming again.
He's got all that eagle.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing? How you doing? I've got some eagle for you.
Knock, knock. That's what he's doing when he's tapping the back quarter panel. He's like, knock, knock. Coming through. Go get you, go get you.
I don't know why, but my mind just went back to the Gridiron Heights episode where it's a parody of The Purge, and defensive play. There's no unnecessary roughness for the next week, and it's just like all the defensive players going insane. And towards the end of the episode, the quarterbacks and the coaches, the offensive coaches, are locked in a room, and there's it's like knock knock at the door, and it's like, who's there? Josh Allen. Oh, thank God. He opens the door, and the guy goes, the other Josh Allen. That is Gerardo Naval off the track.
Hey, what's going on?
You got what?
A little tag came up saying on commentary right now.
Oh, did it? Oh, and then he took it away. How rude.
That should be most of the screen, let's be honest.
So Luciano Chazo has taken 2nd place because Gerardo Naval had a moment and is now interjected into this battle between Josiah Jerome, Dennis Johnson, Mike Stoppmill. Stoppmill may, and in fact did, get 5th place there in the Alpha, getting past the Come To You Audi of Dennis Johnson for 5th position. In the meantime, Brody Steen has made it up to a 5.8 second gap at the front.
Yeah, it was over 6 seconds at one point with straightaways and turns being a factor.
Stoppmill looking to the inside, looking to make short work of Josiah Jerome. And he does, because Josiah loses the back end.
You got to have a firm grasp on that booty, boy.
Big power slide also puts him behind the Come To You Audi. Of this man, Dennis Johnson, who's up into 5th position. So it's Steen, Ichazo, Del Val, although Ichazo goes very wide and ruins my nice rundown of the positions there because he's going to lose 2nd place to Del Val, I think. And he does. Might also lose out to Mike Stoppmill, who's up onto the podium. And the Alfa Romeo got punchy there and made its way through. So Del Val, 2nd, Stoppmill 3rd, and Dennis Johnson is coming through as well. Every time Mike Stoppmill gets around somebody, the Audi is following him. Oh, off the track goes Luciano Ichazo. No. Comes to a stop off the track. And there he is going to get back and going, but that is going to drop him easily out of the top 10. Probably near to the back of the pack. Might rejoin ahead of Zach Wolf.
Insert dramatic singing of leader of the pack here.
Mike Stoppmill into 2nd place as he gets around Gerardo Naval.
You know, I'd like to say that I think Stoppmill's going to be able to get it there, but I guess we going to find out today.
We're going to find out over these last 7 minutes and change. It is a 7, roughly second lead, depending on what part of the track we're at. And Gerardo Naval has been dropped into 3rd place, and I don't think he's going to stay there for long because Dennis Johnson, once again, is just following Mike Stoppmill through. This has been a star-making effort from Dennis Johnson. We have not seen this level of speed and racecraft competency from this driver prior to this event. And he is following Mike Stoppmill at every stage of all 3 of these races. And it's now up onto 3rd place. Gerardo drops down to 4th ahead of Josiah Jerome. Scott Nick in 6th. Then it's Pinheiro, Kenny, Butler, Davidson, Swain, and Barker. Andrew D having a rough day. He's down in 13th place.
Well, that's what he gets for not bringing higher octane fuel. I don't know.
I mean, that would help. Just checking my Discord there as Sean Kinney has informed me that the Sean Kinney remote PC is back up and ready for new server settings. So after I'm done here, there's gonna be an announcement on Discord, and we're gonna have a brand new Enduro server with some updates.
Guess what? You're all going to be racing around wearing water wings and pool noodles.
Scott Nick going side by side with Cristiano Pinheiro. Sean Kenny, speaking of the man, is right in the mix there in the Alpha. And it looks like Nick's going to hang on for now. And Kenny is going to get 7th place. There is just. That's not Josiah Jerome's car. That
Yes, it
is a
is.
Cupra. That's a Cupra.
It says right there.
That I think is. It's got to be Douglas DeGroat, actually, who's just sitting at the start finish line. We've lost Luciano Echazo as well as David Slute, which puts us down to 16 cars at the moment.
I think we have to have an investigation. I don't know how Josiah Jerome can be racing 2 cars at the same time. That seems illegal. I demand you boys, Jacques, take a look into this.
Be exceedingly difficult.
Your boy Stoffmill is tracking Steen down a little bit at a time.
It is. It's taken about a half second out of him since he got up into 2nd place, but that's a half second over the course of almost 3 minutes. So, barring a mistake, the power is in Brody Steen's hands right now. Dennis Johnson in 3rd, keeping him company. We ride with Nicholas Swain, running in 10th place with the Honda of John Barker behind him. Come on, guys. Need more Hondas in the field. I see no Hell Energy Hondas, and it makes me very distressed.
Hondas are not needed, sir. We need more Datsuns.
I will not disagree with that. And to start finish straight once again. So let's see here. How many laps we have left? About a minute 14 per lap. Probably three more laps to go here at Watkins Glen as James Butler goes down the inside of Sean Kenny. Sean Kenny not having a great 3rd race. I mean, obviously it wasn't going to come up to 2nd race standards where he won, but he hasn't really come through the field as nicely as you'd like to see. And battling with James Butler at the moment. Because Butler did not start too far ahead of him.
And then
Butler looking down the inside into the inner loop. And, whoa, Kenny. That is not the track, Sean. Somehow Sean's morale and mojo in my baseball game is somehow going to be down. I'm going to load up the game and it's going to be like, he's rattled. And I'm going to be like, I'm very confused right now because what happens in a racing sim shouldn't affect the baseball. As Brody Steen continues lead by 6.2 seconds over Mike Stoppmill, who is still being kept company by the Audi of Dennis Johnson. This is honestly a revolutionary performance, and it's a little disappointing that it's not going to come with a race victory at any point. At least not today. But Dennis Johnson has been on the game in that Audi, definitely delivering here around Watkins Glen.
we here at Watson's Glens remind you to go bowling.
Whoa! Mike Stoppmill got a little sideways there.
It happens.
Yeah, it does happen, but not often. Seldom do we get to see it in such a straightforward manner. Heading into the last little bit here of what normally would be turn 9, 10, and 11. It's actually going to be 6, 7, and 8 as a result of the boot not being part of this track. Josiah Jerome not giving up in his fight with Gerardo Daval. Gerardo's had a very interesting race at various points, seemingly like he's got this, he's got a really great result, and then at other times he's flying backwards a little bit. So I'm wondering if maybe there's a little bit of tire degradation going on there. These cars do tend to take a lot out of the front tires. As oh boy, Dennis Johnson made a move there on Mike Stockmill, and they're both off the track.
That's less than ideal.
This may upset the entire podium right now. They rejoin in 4th and 5th behind Delval and Josiah Jerome.
Can Mike Stockmill make up all them places in 9 seconds?
Might get another lap depending on where Brody Steen is. If we can get a look at where Steen is, if he's crossed the finish line or not. Might be an additional lap here. Gerardo's suddenly up in his 2nd place. Nope. Brody Steen is your winner and complete. Gerardo Daval coming to the line and takes 2nd place.
I'd like to state for the fact that Mike watched all of these races beforehand.
I did not actually. I did not. That was actually a legitimate prediction.
Same way he gets all those degenerate gambling wins. He just fixes everything.
I mean, I would have a lot more money if that was the case. A lot more money.
Go bowling.
Wayne Hutchison coming across the line in 13th place, followed by the Hyundai of Richard DeRoche and Zach Wolf in the Cupra. Bringing it home in 15th place. So let's talk standings. I imagine Mike Stockmill with 4 wins and 6 races is probably still at the top of the pile. Let's have a look here. As it loads. My internet's being slightly slow, so apologies if this takes a little longer.
I might have fiber internet by next week.
Oh, I like it.
They came trolling past last week going, hey, your landlord said he wants to upgrade the whole building to fiber. I'm like, you better believe I'm on board with that.
That's it's got me all kinds of wiggly. So full rundown of the results here. Steve Davidson got up into the top 10. Very nice. 9th place for him. So Brody Steen, your winner from Gerardo Daval, Josiah Jerome, Mike Stockmill, and Dennis Johnson with some contact at the end. I don't know if that'll find its way to the stewards, but they were 4th and 5th. Scott Nick, followed by James Butler. And then Sean Kenny, Steve Davidson, John Barker, Nicholas Swain, Andrew D. It was Nick Swain, right? I got that right? I don't remember what the... For some reason, it is not sticking in my brain what the N is for.
I'm going to call him Nicky the Shawarma.
Wayne Hutchison, Richard DeRoche, and Zach Wolf getting to across the line. And I do have the standings handy now. So your leader is still Mike Stockmill on 138 points, followed by Brody Steen on 96 points. Sean Kenny on 74. So Sean's in 3rd place, doing really good in that 2nd Alfa Romeo. Gerardo Daval on 61 points. Dennis Johnson on 60 points. There you go. Dennis Johnson was down in 12th place coming in today. He's up to 5th place in the standings. The gun runner, who was not here, so come back soon, Zerai Garunian. We like you. We want you to go out there and push Mike Stockmill to the ends of the earth. Richard DeRoche, Luciano Chazo, James Butler, and Lachlan Nichols round off the top 10.
I disagree.
So Andrew D's off to a rough start. He's down in a tie for 11th with David Slute, who's also off to a bit of a rough start. Both those guys, I think, are capable of doing more than what they have done so far. And good to see Scott Nick and Josiah Jerome up in the top 10 today. Martin Edmonds hopefully will be back next round. Byron, do you have any final thoughts?
Everybody go outside right now and do something good or bad to somebody or nobody.